Bulb interviews. Interview transcript. Strategic agility or strategic confusion. Interviewee. Les. Bulb. Managing Director of Spade&Son Limited. Interviewer. Don Akibab. BBC correspondent. Location. Bulb's office, formerly the Fire Marshal's break room. Time. 12:17 p.m. Background noise. Military bugles, scuffling off camera, occasional, oof, from big pants hitting furniture. Don Akibab, smiling professionally. Mr. Bulb, thank you for agreeing to this interview. We're focusing today on small manufacturers that have survived since COVID. How has Spade&Son managed to stay afloat during such a turbulent time? Bulb, adjusting polo collar like it's tactical gear. Resilience. Strategy. Limited regard for external reality. Don, cautious. Could you elaborate? Bulb, we locked down early. Sent home anyone with a cough or too many questions. I personally led a 3-person rapid response task force, codename Tidy Bayonet, to realign internal priorities. Don, what did that entail? Bulb, gesturing vaguely toward a shelf of shrapnel and one goldfish bowl with no goldfish, mostly shouting and rearranging chairs. At this point, Big Pants is heard off camera shouting, I found a lemon puff, followed by the sound of something brittle breaking. Don, glancing sideways, I'd like to discuss what role your new division, department has played in the company's ongoing success. Bulb, straightening, yes. The new department, pioneering, disruptive, borderline incomprehensible. Don, eyeing the covered blueprints, can you tell us what exactly your team is developing? Bulb, placing both hands on the table like a general at a war map. Not in those words, no. Don, in any words? Bulb, sighs dramatically. Let me put it this way. If wire is the past, and confusion is the present, then this, gestures to a covered stack of what is clearly scrap metal glued to a flip-flop, this is the future. Big Pants crashes into a standing lamp off camera, then mutters, sorry, thought it was a coat rack. Don, your office has quite a few decorations. I see some medals. Bulb, with authority, service, valor, and extreme punctuality. Don, examining. This one says, Guiding Star 1998 East Midlands Brownie Camp. Bulb, defensive, hard-earned. Camp discipline is no joke. Don, pointing to another. And this one appears to be a participation award. Cub Scout Bake-Off. Bulb, glaring. The pressure of that tent oven. Unbelievable. I stand by it. Don, let's talk about team dynamics. How would you describe your leadership style? Bulb, without blinking, structured aggression. Don, could you elaborate? Bulb, everyone in my team is encouraged to innovate, adapt, and obey. I promote mental toughness through daily confusion exercises. If they ask what the job is, I say, surprise me. Off camera, Big Pants can be heard loudly whispering, what's the difference between fig rolls and Garibaldis again? Followed by a loud tumble and, oof, me back. Don, deep breath. And how does your department interface with the rest of the business? Bulb, tapping a covered diagram, strategically. At distance, preferably by fax. Don, do any other departments understand what your team is producing? Bulb, that's classified, also unknown, but confidence is high. Don, more tired now. What would you say is the company's greatest challenge moving forward? Bulb, staring at his Girl Guide medal, too many questions. Not enough discipline, and we're down to 3 first aid kits. People keep using them for morale. Don, sighs slightly, glancing at notes. Now, Mr. Bulb, this is a serious one. We've heard from multiple sources that a number of long-serving employees are currently signed off with stress, anxiety, even PTSD. Several have cited confusion, isolation, or intense managerial pressure. What's your response to that? Bulb, tilts head, occupational fragility. The battlefield isn't for everyone, Don. The mind cracks when it's not forged in steel and urgency. Don, quietly. One employee said they developed a nervous twitch after you threw a branding iron at a filing cabinet. Bulb, leaning back, Tactical expression. No harm intended. I was aiming near the cabinet. Don. Do you believe leadership has a duty of care in this situation? Bulb. I provide mentorship through confusion. My staff are always learning, because I never explain anything clearly. That's growth. Don. Don. What's your position on equality for women in leadership? Bulb. Staring into the distance like a general recalling a failed siege. Women. Tactical, unpredictable, occasionally essential. They're like aerial support, powerful, but prone to weather. Don. Would you promote a woman to a senior post? Bulb. Sternly. I did once promote someone's sister-in-law to interim pencil coordinator, but she cried during the drill inspection. So, no. Don. Final question. And where do you see the new department in 5 years? Bulb. Eyes gleaming, autonomous. Roaming, possibly sentient, but loyal, like a good missile dog. Big Pants sneezes violently off camera and knocks over a tower of biscuit tins. Don, standing up quickly. Thank you, Mr. Bulb. That's plenty. Bulb, saluting with a kettle lid. Dismissed, Captain. Camera catches Becky the Venus flytrap slowly digesting a blue bottle. In the background, a faded campfire badge falls off the medal shelf. End of interview. Don was later treated for mild concussion from a flying Jaffa cake tin. The segment aired with a disclaimer. Some statements may reflect altered realities.